We're all a bit flummoxed because we've got a new way of doing our show notes. Not show notes. Not show notes.
No, not show notes.
What do we call
them?
Run
sheet.
Topic pool.
It's the HV run sheet in the newest and hottest app.
It's we have given up craft for this episode. Will it last? I don't know.
No.
We're running in free form.
I'm saying no.
Martin has already put the foot down. That was fun while it lasted.
No. More because did I ruin it? Did I ruin the fun? Or did I take fun too far? What was it?
It was so much fun that it wrapped around past not fun, but then came back around to fun again. So you did like the full circle of fun.
Well, I thought I'd get in the full spirit of freeform.
Well, our freeform suddenly turned into Trafalgar Square. We had pigeons everywhere. Absolute swarm of pigeons.
Yeah.
At extremely high resolution.
6,000 pixels wide.
My M1 MacBook Air struggled to zoom in and out because of all the pigeon photos. So that made it difficult. But the pigeons have been eliminated. And now we have got our show notes all lined up.
Humanely, I will add. They were removed humanely.
They were, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw them in the trash.
Yeah.
This is episode 092 featuring 32% more Martin.
Is that just because it's a flat rule for all episodes now, or because I was away last time?
No. Let's not get carried away. This is strictly a one episode deal.
Okay, right.
No future rights or implied or expressed. One episode only, 32% more, and we're going to hold you to that.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, starting my talking more from right now, because I can see you've added a little note, I assume, Jason. It's a foot that says a lot of things.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really fun to throw all of your topics immediately into the corporate-style parking lot that you added to the freeform board because, that's funny. And originally I had Camrys only just to make fun of Andrew. But then I thought, you know what? Rivians too. Let's chuck them in. So should we visit the parking lot first just so we can be nice? That seems to be important stuff.
I mean, we're still well within your 32%, so I'm going to have to say you get to make the call.
All right. Well, I think when you arrive somewhere, traditionally, at least if you've driven by car, you would arrive at said parking lot or car park.
True.
So let's treat it not as the place for later. Let's treat it as the arrival point.
Okay.
We're in the parking lot. Camrys and Rivians have been parked. I'm allowing you to explore the parking lot.
Okay.
What's first?
Okay, well, there's a lot.
What do you think? You want to go first, Andrew? You want me to go first?
You're just bustling with excitement. Like, look, you're just bursting. Like, I want to go first. This is me.
Who's going to get out of their car first? Is it you?
Okay, look, I don't want to bury the lead on this, so I'm going to jump straight into the hot topic of the parking lot.
Okay.
When you finish hanging your washing on the washing line outside, do you take your pegs off the line and put them in a little basket? Or do you leave your pegs on the line ready to be deployed next time?
Is there a more perfect first topic for this show than that? I don't know. That just seems so perfect.
Well, I feel like I have a strong thought on this, but then I don't actually care. So it's something that's obviously just been instilled as a habit from my family back at home. I'm a basket guy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you collect them and put them in the basket rather than leaving them out, but it probably doesn't really matter. They're not going to go flying off if they're securely attached. And I feel like the basket, I've always had that little moment of not panic, but slight anxiety reaching into the basket thinking, what spider is waiting for me in
absolutely.
here? But then that's ridiculous because why would a spider be hanging out in pegs? It's not where it lives. They have no interest in that.
No, they're always interested in everything.
You're in Australia, mate.
Okay. So you're a basket guy, but the basket stays... So the basket is hanging from one of the clotheslines and the basket just is out there 24/7. Okay.
Correct. Assuming that you have one that's of high quality or is actually still attached, because if it's flimsy and falling off, then, well, that's a broken basket.
Okay. Jason?
Yeah, I love this question because I had no idea what it meant when it was in the little Post-it note. So this is great. Now I have some context.
Do you have clothes hangers? Do you have the Hills hoist?
No. So spoiler, no, we do not. So that's why I was a little bit confused by this question because I was like pegs on a line. I'm assuming that meant like a clothesline, but no, we don't have that here.
how do you dry your clothes?
In a clothes dryer.
Your jacket is now dry. That's what they have.
Ah, like an appliance.
Yeah.
Every single load.
Washer and dryer. Yeah. Well, certain things don't go in the dryer. They just get hung up in said laundry room to air dry by themselves.
But there's nothing in your garden. There's no line in your garden.
No.
Really? That's so Americans do not use wind. Like the natural phenomenon of
sun.
wind is not a thing.
Wind and sun are pretty new here.
Yeah,
You'll
sun.
notice by our use of fossil fuels that we're not quite like into wind and sun quite yet. Like we're still trying to figure that out. But I think it's very dependent on where you are in the country. This is a very region-specific type of situation in terms of using the clothesline. I think you'll see those probably more so in the Midwest, I would say. But there's no reason I couldn't have one here. Also, we just don't.
Do people there have a lot of wind? Is that
We
a
have
thing?
wind. Yeah, we got our fair share of wind.
This is fascinating. You literally... So this has gone in a direction I didn't anticipate, in that you do not have a clothesline.
We do not have a clothesline. Mm-mm.
Wow.
So you go and dig up some coal, get the fire going, dryer's connected. It's just this.
Yeah. Well, first we
nightmare.
kill the dinosaurs, then we bury them.
Yep.
Wait for them to turn in to the correct fuel type, dig them back up, process them, burn them, dry our clothes. Job done.
Wow. Okay. Well, in the Perth summertime, you can hang your clothes on the line. Come back 15 minutes, they're dry. There's no mucking around. It's quicker than a dryer. But that's for me, pegs. Pegs, you must take your peg off the line. There is absolutely no efficiency dividend from leaving them on the line. Because if you leave them all strung up, pegged on the line, the next time you go to hang clothes, you're not saving yourself effort by having to be like, the peg won't be in the right spot and it'll actually get in the way. So it's actually more annoying when you're trying to hang your next bit of clothing on the line. You're still having to remove the peg and then replace the peg where it needs to be. So there's absolutely no efficiency dividend. You shouldn't do it. You should put it in a basket, remove the peg, remove the cloth, peg in the basket. Also, if you've got pegs on the line, if you have a slightly misaligned line or it's a bit saggy, you'll find, and if the pegs are made of a certain style, they will all slide. They'll all slide down to one end or the other or halfway in the middle. They'll clump up. That's no good either. Same problem as before, but you've just got a clump of pegs to deal with.
Could I ask you about your pegging preferences in terms of the clippy kind or the slidey kind, or maybe there's a third kind that I am unaware of?
One thing, show title, pegging preferences.
Absolutely.
That's what we're going to make it. Thank you.
It's not.
That was the hope.
So for the longest time, I was a fan of the plastic peg with the slight metal spring just in them. And it had the different notches, different sized notches. So if you had thick clothing or thin clothing, different line with diameters.
Two notches in there, usually, I think, traditionally.
You got it?
Yeah.
You got it. And those you could just leave out 24/7. The spring would gradually rust. The plastic would gradually warp. And then one day you'd go to squeeze it and it would just snap.
Yeah. Can I guess that you call the other ones woodies? Am I anywhere close?
Are you talking about the little ones that have the little circle top and just two little stalks?
Yeah, the little tines. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like you'd eat corn with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've never had those in my life.
Damn it.
They seem impractical.
I think you have to have the clothes over the line for those to work, right? Like, because there's no force and there's no spring. So I think you got to wrap it over the top, and it's just meant to sort of hold it attached to the line. But I got to imagine then you've got little weird pinch marks in your clothes. I don't know.
And in the summer in Perth, we get the wind known as the Fremantle Doctor. That's a heavy wind.
The
That's
Doctor.
just going to blow them right off. The Fremantle Doctor, yeah.
Why does your wind have a medical degree?
Because after a hot day, it provides relief, just as a doctor might provide relief.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we have the Newcastle podiatrist. That's lesser known, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's good for the foot, though.
Yeah, it's a low wind.
Yeah.
Just down below the knees.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Through that
Yeah.
arch. It's excellent.
So my final tip though in Peg Corner is
Your tip in Peg Corner.
Final
This is just getting worse.
tip in the pegging corner. Go ahead. Brought to you by Squarespace. Square peg in a round hole, as they say.
I'm a fan of a stainless steel peg.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Really good. But I put them in the basket, but then I bring the basket inside when I'm done. Keep them fresh.
Stainless
No
steel
rust.
with spring.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just metal. They're just metal with a springy bit.
Oh,
in the
like
middle.
the spring is engineered into the structure.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That
It's
sounds
really
that
good.
sounds costly.
Yeah, I don't know how much they cost. I didn't.
Money's no
you know.
object when it comes to pegs, right?
You got to take your pegging seriously.
That's true. Yeah, you do. It's very delicate work. Okay.
So,
All right. Listeners, do you have a clothesline? Let us know. And do you polish your pegs?
Yeah. The people want to know.
Oh, fun fact. Actually, for work, while I was in Adelaide, we visited a site, which is part of the broader company I work for, which was like the home of the Hills Hoist. And they have a gigantic
cool.
Hills Hoist, like, it's kind of like a big thing in Australia, but it's not really absorbed or part of that whole thing. I think people might have wanted to recognise it that way, but it was cool. It was like this big Hills Hoist clothesline.
Did you swing on it?
I feel like this has come full circle. Oh, I did dance around it like a maypole,
Nice.
but yeah, I couldn't swing on it. It was too high.
Is that a brand? Is that, or what's the?
It was like it's when Australians get all, teary about some of their great inventions, like apparently arguably Wi-Fi and black boxes and stuff. The Hills Hoist is thrown in, and that's that big silver one with the kind of rotating handle that moves it up and down the central pole, if you can envisage that.
Okay.
Telescopic. You can raise or lower your entire line
Wow.
just by cranking a handle.
Yep.
Arguably better than Wi-Fi, potentially.
And it spins. It's like a propeller.
Well, if you think about it, you mount your internet service or Wi-Fi modem on top of the Hills Hoist to get better
that would be
range
good.
outside.
And
Better
every
range.
kid would swing on the hillside. I broke one when I was a kid. You just have to.
All right, what's next in the parking lot?
Did we already mention that we're using Freeform now? Is that already? We already did that. I think we did that already.
Yeah, and then I put all my pigeon pictures in
Right.
there. One of which, actually, because the listeners couldn't see it, was a woman being attacked by pigeons in Venice, which I found very enjoyable. I took that photo.
I would like to.
She's
I would
okay.
like to bring forth the topic that I don't think I have strong feelings on, but I probably will after you both give your take on it. There's something in there that says, quote, basketball emoji, space, should HV, I'm presuming HV is related to this show, be on something called YourTube. I'm curious what.
Yeah, my tube.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
curious what that is about. If one of you could comment.
Basketball, off you go.
Okay. I listened to a show called Really Specific Stories.
Oh, yeah.
Another podcast.
Interesting. Yeah.
It was really good, really enjoyable.
True crime, right? Is that true crime one? I think.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, the hot game at the moment, Baldur's Gate?
Yes.
Yes, so the guy, he was on it.
He was on it. Yeah.
And he made a really interesting point about how the multimedia angles of podcasting these days, whether you might have a podcast, you might have a transcript, and you might be on multiple platforms. You might have an RSS feed, but then you might also be on a platform that allows for monetization or creator content and statistical insights such as YouTube. And I thought it's interesting because Hemispheric Views has an RSS feed. We have a blog. We have transcripts. We have wonderful show notes. But we're not anywhere other than the RSS. And so I thought, bring it to the table as part of the board meeting. Should we be exploring having our show on a platform like YouTube? Not that we would do anything special for YouTube. It would literally just be the audio file uploaded to YouTube. with probably our logo just sitting there for 45 minutes.
Type 45.
Is there Type 45? Might make for easy sharing if you wanted to. You know, people, the world, the global community is very used to YouTube. It's very integrated into everything. It might make it sort of easier to share bits and highlights and find a new audience. Thoughts?
Yeah, because to be clear, we already have a YouTube channel. We've put little clips and stuff there and excerpts, but never full episodes. And that's what you're wondering if we should do.
Just chuck it up.
Well, Jason, you said you had strong thoughts, so...
I have, like, mediocre thoughts about it. So, to be clear, you don't like our current audience and you want a different audience? Is that what you're saying? Or is that...
I just think the more the merrier. Like,
you just want more additional, not replacement.
No, not replacement. People can still get their podcasts wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah, your podcast player of choice, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So we've actively chosen not to be in certain places, like the green one. We're not there.
Yep.
I don't think. Well, I don't fully know, but I tried like hell for us to not be on the yellow one, but I think we are still on that one. And I'm unsure how that's possible without like explicit consent. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
One?
You're talking about Luminary?
The Amazon one.
Oh, is that yellow?
Oh.
Whatever color they are. We've already, actively cut out potential others just due to their platforms being questionable.
Yep.
So YouTube is like a whole different thing though, because it's got tube in the name, which I think implies video, but there's YouTube Music, which is weird to me. YouTube feels like
they started to launch their podcast offering in the US as well, like kind of
it's like trying to just
audio
be
thing.
Everything for the sake of YouTube getting more money, because I don't for any brief moment believe they give any amount of about any content that's on there. It's completely about monetizing it and taking their cut. So, okay. So I guess if the goal was to just get people to see the content, I keep calling it content. That feels gross. To see this show or listen to the show or whatever, like maybe that's okay. But like at the end of the day, I don't know. Like is Google any better than Spotify or Amazon? I don't know. I guess it's just sort of a trade-off you have to make in terms of like potentially letting people find it. But I also I don't have any numbers on this, but I wonder, how would you listen to it? Like you wouldn't use your podcast player of choice. You wouldn't be able to. So I guess you would just sort of find it on YouTube and then listen to it in the background or something. I don't know. I'm very underknowledged in the area of all of this. I'm sure there's some SEO like magician that would be like, oh, you gotta do this, and this, and then you'd be NPR. I'm like, okay, fine. Not really an opinion one way or the other. I just don't really know like what it would do versus the effort to put it onto YouTube, because you would have to, it still has to be a video, I think. I mean, it's just a still image and use that like little Blender app, I guess. I forget the name of it. The Fusioncast, which is, I think that's what that's for, right? Is basically to put audio on YouTube.
Create a video.
So we'd have to do that. But it's one of those things like you don't know until you try. So maybe it's like experiment, start throwing a couple up there, see what it takes to do it, and see if anybody cares. I don't know, Martin. What do you? You're probably you are the most qualified to speak from a social media like perspective, I guess. Like that's more in your wheelhouse than either of us, I think.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I'm probably the absolute worst about it. And Andrew wants to do it and like has ideas of things to try, and you actually do this stuff. So you talking about it probably means more than anybody. So I'll let you go.
All right. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Although I think you both know what you're talking about. And Andrew, thanks again for listening to that show. I thought what Balta had to say, if people haven't listened, he has a background in interactive media, and you can hear all of that stuff that he's studied and researched and done in his work in that interview. But he made a great point about having things in different places. Now, as I speak, I have to kind of check my own bias about being someone who loves this particular podcasting niche that we're in and what that community means and RSS and so forth. what I like about the RSS element is, I think, what you both like, which is that open element. You can move the show somewhere else, or you can play it in any player. It's purely the audio with all of the accessible text and transcript and show note stuff attached to that. Now, YouTube offers those possibilities for the show notes kind of description stuff in the description, so you can still have a kind of podcast-esque experience in terms of listening to or watching the content, as you said, Jason. That word's totally fine, I think. But it's that centralized manner which is sort of troubling for people. Now, if the audience or our listeners benefit from that and want it, I'd support it. I'm not entirely against it. I think that the thing that we didn't particularly like about Spotify, although YouTube, you could argue, is technically doing similar things, the thing about Spotify is that you can see that they were essentially trying to upend and move that audio hub somewhere else into their own area. YouTube would love to do that too, but the implementation, I think, with the video aspect is a little bit different. It's not fooling people in the same way maybe that Spotify would. So I'm not so concerned about that if people would want it or if it offers people a benefit. But there was a word you said there, Jason, which is more my concern, which was that word effort. Because you both know the effort that we put into making this show, I'm sure people appreciate that, but people listen to the audio, they go, oh, I enjoyed that, or I didn't, that was great, and then they move on. But beyond this recording, you do your show notes, Andrew and I edit the thing, it's many, many hours of work. And the benefit of the RSS thing is that if we spot a mistake or we want to update something or fix something in the audio, we've got one place, we do that, and it updates everywhere, and it's done. The moment you start uploading to a different area, which is centrally controlled somewhere else, that's not being updated by that same source material. You've just doubled, potentially, your work of having to upload and fix things elsewhere. It might sound like a small occasional thing, but suddenly you've increased your creative workload because someone or something else wants to control the experience elsewhere. So I think if it's, in summary, a good thing for the audience so they want it, I think it's cool to explore and listeners can tell us, but I don't necessarily see huge benefits because I think the people who are generally wanting to listen to us have that bias towards the very same thing that we do. I hope that all makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of, if we were to do it, I see it as like a signpost back to the website or the RSS or whatever. Like, I think it could be like a billboard almost, where it's an advertisement. Give it, bad word, but to come back to the thing. And I'm also now realizing that I do upload everything to archive.org, so I've already screwed us on the single place anyway. So. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's no reason we couldn't.
There's no right or wrong. It's a subjective thing.
There's no reason we couldn't do a couple and then just see hey, maybe somebody found us because of that. They didn't, because on it, finding podcasts is hard, right? If you're listening in your podcast player of choice, search is not, unless you're using Apple Podcasts, which it's only meant to search. Apparently, it was not meant to actually listen to anything.
No,
as we discussed last time, but. I mean, maybe it's an ad.
This is exactly the entire question that I'm wrangling with that really specific stories show and the project that's attached to it. And people might listen to this and go, oh, here we go. We got 3 white guys using the podcast to talk about podcasting. And yeah, that's true. We do all kind of go around in circles on this. But if you extrapolate that and think about, well, what does that mean for how we consume television or where we get things or we submit to centralized stuff for other content, but not for this. It is a broader question about the effort that we put into producing something or where people can get access to things that they pay for or subscribe to or enjoy. So anyone who's listened to this thinking, I don't know, why do we talk about this? If you put time and effort and money into the things that you consume or produce, you kind of hope for, expect some freedom in the way that you can move that information around. So that's what I think is important.
At the very least, sharing would be easier because sharing a podcast is hard. You can't really, I mean, you can send them a link, I guess, but then if I send you a link from Pocket Casts, it's going to go to a Pocket Cast page and you're like, what the hell is this? Whereas at least YouTube is
it's universal.
Clearly it's pretty well known. I think it's pretty popular now. I would say it's pretty safe to say most people know what YouTube is now. So I don't know. Maybe I would just say board meeting We need to make a yay or nay on if we do it or not for a trial period, let's say, of an undetermined amount.
Yeah.
So please vote, Andrew.
Show of hands, yeah. So I'm a yay on the trial of
Okay.
like giving it a go for a couple of episodes, 2 or 3 episodes, and seeing what happens, seeing how much work it is, seeing if it's feasible.
Andrew, sorry, Martin. What's your vote here?
I say let's give it a go, see what people think. Listeners can tell us as well, and maybe we even try throwing this one up as the first one.
All right, majority rules, 2 out of 3. There you go. We're going all in on the YouTube. Well, not
There we
all
go.
in.
And
like,
Jason, was that a no from
partially.
you?
What? I just realized that it doesn't really matter what I vote because it's already 2/3 majority.
Oh, but I'd like to know, because I'll be honest, I'm subjectively against it, and that's kind of the thing that inspired my project. But I think I've got to keep my mind open as a researcher.
Unless if our board requires unanimous voting. I don't know if we clarified that in the bylaws.
Oh, the Constitution.
Andrew, could you check the bylaws and see?
Yeah, just let me have a look.
Yeah.
I think while Andrew's checking the bylaws of our supposed constitution, I suppose my request or condition for this would be RSS is the core of what we do. So we might do additional things. There might be additional labour, but I don't think anything should supplant the open original material.
It won't.
No, agreed. So I've
All right, well,
I've
that's
checked
good.
the bylaws, looked into the Constitution, the Articles of Association. Turns out that we only need a majority.
Okay.
But there's also fine print that says Andrew always has the power of veto.
Wow.
I'm thinking that's probably because I wrote them.
I was going to say, did you? I don't think we probably didn't even need to sign off on these, it sounds like.
No. I had the power to sign off.
Okay, good. Power of attorney.
I have no memory of this constitutional draft.
That's fine. You had no need to know about it.
Okay.
Did you was a neuralizer involved?
You're
Is
not,
that
you're
what
not
happened?
Martin the business Feld, okay? Just chill.
Okay.
I
There
got
we go.
this.
Chill. You're telling Martin to chill. You know that's
That's
impossible.
completely impossible. Okay, so I will do
It's like, I'm relaxed. I'm seriously relaxed. Please
I will do
understand.
the YouTube shenanigans for episode 092.
Right.
Oh, and here's a solution. When it comes to the show notes, all you need to do is put a little link there that says, for full show notes and transcript, click here.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
And take you
because
to the
I don't
webpage.
imagine
Don't
YouTube
double the work.
searches
There you go, I
the
just solved
notes
it.
anyway. I doubt it does. Do you think? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's YouTube. We don't care. Okay. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, so drive people to the website. Thank you.
Jason needs a gavel.
I really want a gavel now. I should get one. I'm going to get one for next time.
Jason, can you do the purple? Can you do the purple note?
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one.
The one about freeform?
No.
Oh,
No, the other one.
the other one. Let me look. Oh, you might be referring to,
Very important.
tangentially related to, Arcadia June. It is August. Don't worry, I know that it's August. I'm fully aware of that. Arcadia June happened. We've already talked about it. You're not going crazy. But a couple of announcements here. So, number 1, Arcadia June winners. I have all of your addresses. The trophies have been created and they will be shipped out very soon. So you will receive them guaranteed before Arcadia June 2024. 100% guarantee there. So that's topic number 1. Topic.
No spoilers. Jason showed me and Andrew, and we're very impressed. So I don't think people would be disappointed
Massively.
by the effort that Jason's put into.
Massively impressed. This is
pretty
like
good,
next
pretty
level.
good trophies. Yeah. So we've had 3. This is the 3rd year. We've had trophies. I think we've had trophies all 3 years. Ooh, now I'm forgetting. I don't remember. I think I did them for the first year, right?
I think so.
Ooh, questionable.
You know who
Anyway.
we could ask? You know who we could ask?
Oh, I know who we could ask. Probably the person that won't be winning 2024 because they're banned. So
Good on
once
you,
you win
Eric.
3, like you're out.
Congratulations.
You're just
you're in the
out.
hall. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. Put the jersey up on the rafters or
That's
like
it.
whatever. I don't know. Whatever it is, that's going to happen. So good for you. Okay, topic 2, Arcadia June. We've done 3 years in a row. We're going to do the 4th year, obviously, but it's going to be a little different because our friends over at Arcadia have created another game, Arcadia Sports.
Woo!
Yes. And what game is in there? Oh, I don't know, a little game called basketball. So there's another game now. And because there's another game, and we have such a lovely relationship with the folks over at Arcadia, we have no less than, I don't know, like 10 codes or something for Arcadia Sports once it hits the App Store, which I'm assuming because we have codes, it's already out in the App Store. So we're going to figure out some little kind of raffle system to get folks hooked up with Arcadia Sports games so they can start practicing now for Arcadia June 2024. So look out for that. We will post about that. And
well, here's a question. Sorry, just to completely throw this.
Yeah, throw.
Arcadia Sports, right? Yeah. Separate app from Arcadia.
Correct.
Yes.
Does this warrant a separate month for the sports app? Like another competition? Or do we bundle them together in the one month?
That's a great question. The committee is still in planning phase. So there's more to come from that. At this point, we've announced nothing officially, other than that there will be an event in Arcadia June of 2024. So more
unless
to come.
unless I veto it, because I have that power.
Correct. Yeah. But other than that,
I don't think I will.
Probably not. I don't. I mean, you might veto the winner from last year, but other than that, I think we're a go, right?
Like I've said, everyone calls me the Foot, but slowly someone's revealing the truth about himself.
Well, give him one set of bylaws and it's just all out the window. Arcadia Sports codes. We're going to create some kind of little contest for that. Look out for that. And we'll get some codes out to you. It'll be great.
Arcadia Sports. This is so exciting. I just want to say, because finally we don't have to hear about Bricko.
Maybe. We don't know. We're not sure.
She's committed.
But yeah, well done to Rafaela with Arcadia. Like what a great thing. He's lent into the concept of the 8-bit games, built a whole new one, sports, and gotten us involved as well. So thank you. Really fantastic.
What's next?
Whew, right.
Wait a minute. We've been in the parking lot for like an hour. Are we ever going to get out of the parking lot?
And this is what I mean. Like, oh, Martin, you screwed up the form. I'm a very generous soul. I have let you explore the entire car park, all levels, from green 1 through to purple 23.
It's hot out
You've
here.
been carrying an air conditioner around Lost the whole time, and I'm still letting you walk around.
Can we come in the building yet? It's very hot out here in this parking lot. The sun is just brutal.
That's up to you. It's where you parked your Rivian.
Look, I'll just go real quick, Jason, then we can move out of the parking lot. My desk
thank you.
is an absolute disaster zone. Mm-hmm. I no longer have access to the studio display.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
So all I've got is a Dell monitor and my MacBook.
Can you give us the spec on that?
No. 20. I think it's 27 inches 4K.
Is it HDMI?
It has HDMI DisplayPort and, my personal preference, USB-C.
Oh, good.
But it has no hub functionality. And my MacBook has 2 USB ports. So I use one power, and then for this show, I'm having to use one USB plug into my audio interface.
Ooh.
Which leaves me no ability to plug in a monitor. So I am just talking to you guys on my laptop. I'm using, like, I can't use my mouse because that's a USB-A plug. I've got no way to plug that in. I'm using, like, the sushi mouse thing from Apple, which is terrible.
Sushi mouse?
It's like
the Magic Mouse. Okay.
The Magic Mouse, yeah, sushi mouse. I've got, like, an adapter plug here, like a dongle thing for my MacBook, which is of no use whatsoever because all it does is pushes out HDMI, which goes to the monitor at a low resolution, so that doesn't work, 1080. So that's not going to work. Everybody raves about Anchor stuff, but this is not much help to me. It's fine, but it's not much help.
You should get the one Martin uses. It saved his life last week.
So I've got two solutions at this point. I either spend like $15,000 on one of those CalDigit thingamybobs that would probably solve the problem, or the grand return, the iMac, the Intel iMac comes back. Everything plugs back into it. That becomes my studio, my podcast studio computer, and I go back to that lifestyle. And I think that's where I'm leaning.
I don't like it.
Why not?
I don't feel good about
it. It's a Core
it.
i5. It's got lots of memory. I can plug everything into it. I can clean up my desk. Like, if you guys saw this desk, I'll include some photos in the show notes or something. But this desk is an absolute embarrassment. And I've been roasting everybody's desk. You know, sitting in my ivory tower before now. And now my ivory tower has crumbled. This is a disaster zone. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what to do.
So you're on battery right now, is what I'm hearing.
Well, no, because I chose to go with power and audio interface. No monitor, no external monitor.
Okay.
Just that's probably why you can see out my nose from the camera.
Got it. It looks fine, honestly. I don't...
I wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't made a big deal of it.
Looks fine.
Oh, really? Oh, fine. Okay, great. Let's get out of the parking lot. Okay, we're going to the mall.
Oh, we're going to the mall.
Yeah.
Now we've got a bit of choice here. I don't think we're going to get through all of it. So.
To be clear, the rest is just Martin talking, right? And I can just kick back at this point?
Yeah, I'm turning my microphone off.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Martin.
All right, so rapid fire. Basically, I keep knocking my mouse on the floor. It's a bit of an issue. I'm worried I'm going to damage it, but I don't know how to get around it. The problem is I had my trackpad on the right, but I kept getting this weird swelling thing, you know, in my middle finger, which is a bit awkward when you can't move your middle finger and you're just waving to people and you're just constantly flipping them the bird. So,
do you have a battery in your finger?
Yeah, I do, actually. Lithium ion, completely swollen. So, had to move it to the left. Finger issues are gone now because I'm using this lovely Logi Master thingo. But yeah, because it's higher and I'm used to like skimming across, first world problem, I keep like completely karate chopping my mouse off the desk.
I know, I've done that, Martin. I understand. I've got that mouse connected to the iMac.
Exactly. It's a beautiful mouse. I'm not having a go at it, but it's like, hacha, and it just goes flying off, and it's a bit of a problem.
You should get a sushi mouse. You just fly over the top of it.
At least it would be culturally connected to what I'm doing. Exactly.
You can't karate chop. It's too low profile. You hi-ya, and your hand goes over the top.
True. It would just be like a kind of bullet time over the top, like a sword.
You might switch to a different space.
So that's that.
As you glide your fingers.
Like mission control, very efficient.
I just
that.
enabled Siri.
Rapid fire. No, that topic's done. I'm moving on now, Andrew. That's fine.
I just enabled Siri by swooshing my mouse.
Oh, well, you have a nice chat to Siri.
Okay.
Jason's actually asleep, I think. Leaning back. Next update. Little thing about Playdate. Obviously, Playdate's all about games. Still enjoying it when I can. Don't play it as much as I would like to. But I think you pronounce it this way. Kikuya, the MP3 player that they added to the catalogue. Fantastic. If anyone's looking for like a retro iPod-esque app for their Playdate to play music, strongly recommend it because it's essentially, you just get the app, you mount the Playdate on your Mac in like their disk mode, drag things over. And the thing that I love about this, other than the fact that you can use things like the crank and the D-pad and stuff, is that it renders everything in that retro kind of black and white finish. And all of your album artwork does the same thing. So you see this kind of old style version. So I had the Arcade Fire album on there recently, and there's this kind of retro pixelated eyeball. Very cool. One thing that's a bit annoying is that because you have to kind of have the app running to listen to the music, you kind of leave it open and then can't do other things. But, I mean, really, it's such a particular thing. Have you used this, Jason?
I have, yeah. It's pretty fun. But yeah, to your point, like it wouldn't be, maybe novelty is too strong of a word, but it's not like, this is not your primary way of listening to music, most likely. It could be, but probably not, but it's still really fun.
They would have to make some changes to the system
Yeah.
But as a fun way to sit down and deliberately listen to music, kind of like the effort you would go to with vinyl in switching and flipping things, it's a fun idea, and I like that they're continuing to be creative with the developers on there.
I like that it features
next thing, because I'm firing through
cassette
topics.
I like that it features a cassette tape. That is super cool.
Are you looking at it online now?
Yeah. This makes me want to get a Playdate.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty.
What does the crank do? Does that like fast forward and rewind?
I don't think it does, although that's a cool idea for an affordance. There are little instructions about how you can navigate stuff, but at the very least, it just scrolls and gives you that
You
nice
have to actually
feeling.
crank it for it to play the whole time.
That would be fun. Why don't they do that? You can control the speed.
Yeah.
That would be great. Anyway, rapid fire topics. I'm getting through them all here. Right. Jason knows about this already. I don't know if Andrew does. I did make a toot about it, as they say on Mastodon. Do they still say that?
No
I don't know.
idea.
But Natasha joined Glass secretly to see how long I would take to notice. Right? And she had this whole secret discussion with Jason, and then Jason ended up, I think, did you become a patron so that she could...
I did, yeah.
Very generous, because she was like, they're like referral codes or something, and you were just like, oh, hell with it, I'll go do this, so thanks for that. But she cracked up because I think I uploaded a photo, and as we record, the month's kind of category or highlight is shadow, and I just went to have a look at the shadow feed, and I went, I recognise this thing. It was like a little baby donkey toy that Mac has that he carries around with him, and Natasha put it somewhere and took a photo with this little donut camera. I'll include a picture in the show notes or link to her account. And I was like, I recognise that donkey. Tapped on it. I'm like, what? And I told her instantly. I was like, what's going on? She said, you took less than a day to find me. It was exactly 22 hours.
Wow.
And she was just, what the hell? And I was like, well, you put it in the monthly category that I'm looking at. That's what happens. Anyway, she's one of many people using Glass. We've spoken about it before. But I just wanted to say that within one photo, considering the style that she adopted and this cool little, novelty donut camera that she's had for longer than she's known me, she instantly became cooler on that network than anything that I've ever done.
10,000%. Yeah.
It's like, why do I bother?
Yeah, it's like the shittest camera that you could ever imagine. Because Glass posts like what camera it is that the photo was taken with.
Yeah.
And if you look up the name, I'm blanking on what it is right now, but it's something where you'd be like, what is that? That doesn't even make sense. But if you look it up, it's like one of those just sort of like crap camera systems that you'll put in like a million different products regardless of what they are, because it was like the cheapest, like 3 megapixel whatever. But the majority of them are in like wildlife night cameras that you put out like to capture like wildlife in like infrared or whatever. But it's in this like donut for who knows what reason. And honestly, the photo quality is absolute shit, and that's like, I mean, that's no fault of any, like, that's what the camera is. But honestly, the stuff that she's capturing with the motion and like, I don't know how much like effort she's, and I'm not trying to like degrade what she's doing, but like, I don't know how much she's like taking it seriously or just sort of like snapping pictures, but like the stuff that she's coming up with is like artistic AF.
Oh.
Some of this stuff looks
Absolutely.
so cool. And it's like you would spend thousands of dollars on camera gear and lighting and like After Effects shit on this. And it's just coming out of this tiny, stupid donut. And that just makes it so magical.
I found her username now, and I'm looking at them.
There she is. And the camera, I think the actual camera or the sensor, like you were saying, Jason, it shows up. It comes up as Wild Game AC3S.
That's the one.
But I think the name of it, the name of the actual model, I might be mispronouncing it. It's Genie, like a Genie donut camera, or it might be Genie.
Could be,
it's
yeah.
Anyway, I think she said it before, but I've forgotten. But I can tell you, she is not spending ages constructing these situations. She said to me once, I busted her or discovered it, seeing how long she was waiting to see when I would discover it. She just started carrying it around, like when she takes Mac out or something, and just snaps a moment or, I'll pop it there, that's interesting. And there's actually one photo, I think it's the second one on the account, where you kind of see a portion of Mac's face and the caption is "eat."
Yep.
In quotation marks. And that's because whenever he has seen the camera, he says, eat, like he wants to eat it. He tries to actually reach for it to take a bite because it looks like food. So, yeah, totally in the moment, just carry around. She is not spending a lot of time constructing these situations.
I love it.
And that's what makes it cooler, I think.
It's so
This
great.
is better than anything you've done, Martin.
It really
Definitely.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great account. Just follow it. It's awesome.
There you go. So, anyway, she's way cooler than I am.
Yeah. Unfollow Martin and follow Natasha instead is basically what I would say.
I wouldn't be offended. Just go for it.
It's actually making me want to join Glass more than
There you
anything
go.
else I've ever seen. How do you draw on the Mac version?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
How do you draw a shape? Oh, like that?
You have to be on an M1.
Are you freeforming, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm trying to, but... Oh, pencil. There we go.
You ready? Into 3.
Oh, no, wait. You know what he's doing? Just before you finish, Jason. You know what he's doing? He's taking the full hour to learn freeform the same way he did with
Oh,
pages.
right. Yeah. He needs his full 60 minutes.
I just put a cross in on my
How's that inspector going?
tic-tac-toe. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. So what I can do...
Oh, come on.
I should just be able to go...
You should get an
Oh,
iPad.
no. That's moving it.
Can get real work done on an
How
iPad.
do you move it? Oh, boy.
Are we stopping?
How do you select it? Oh, no, it's a post-it note.
3.
How do I
So
move?
he's used to OneNote. That's the problem.
Oh, I did it. Oh, OneNote. Tell you what. Been
3.
using that.
2. 3.
I'm ready.
3. 2. 1. Stop.